Alright. Around the age of 14 to 16, we were last talking about you and your friend playing chicken with the train, seeing who doesn't get sucked underneath.
Oh.
And you said that was also the last time you ever played that game.
Yeah, that wasn't much fun. It was scary.
Did you and him do any other more daring things later on?
No, except we did go in the pool rooms when we were not nearly old enough. I was in high school, I guess.
So would you be on the football team now? Well,
no, not till my junior year.
How old's the junior year?
I don't know.
I figured that would have been 16.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I missed a couple years.
Did you draw or paint yet? Or was that something still you weren't even interested in?
Well, did I tell you about the time that I was in grade school and got in trouble for drawing this nude woman and showing it to the next guy, and before I knew it, it was all up and down the whole room, and I got called to the principal's office, and they called my parents in, and I thought I was going to be in trouble, but they wanted to send me to an art institute instead because it was that good. I don't know, I think I was in the 7th grade or 8th grade.
But you were too scared that it was a trick and they were sending you away, and you turned it down.
Well, how did you know? That's exactly what happened. My parents asked me if I wanted to quit, you know, like 8th grade and go to this art institute, and I got scared. I thought they were going to send me away, and so I turned them down. I said, no, I want to stay home. And of course they were relieved.
So, well, besides that little doodle, did you do any other artwork?
I think I was always getting into trouble in classes for drawing or doodling or whatever you want to call it, but nothing stands out in my mind that I can recall. I did a lot of drawing later on when I grew up and went to Delco to work, but I mean, I made a lot of money.
You were drawing schematics, right?
Oh, the radios, I was doing freehand. I was standing behind the workers, and I was actually drawing the part of the radio or tape player they were putting together, and the pieces that they were installing and where they were supposed to put the screws. On every radio line behind every person or every model. It was all freehand. I just stood there, looked at them, and drew pictures.
Sounds like a job I'd like to have.
Yeah, well, they had to invent the job because that job doesn't exist, really. They just wanted it as instructions. So when they sent our jobs to Mexico, the Mexicans could still
reproduce it.
They could do the job just going by the pictures because they couldn't read English.
Makes sense. Alright, did you drive anywhere exciting in your car? Because this was when you bought your car.
Oh man. No, I didn't. It was just exciting for an underage guy to drive a car to school and back home every day. So I had no idea how to read a map. I had no idea where other cities were, or the highway numbers. So I just drove to school and drove home every day.
Yeah, we're doing
Come have this picture made with Grandpa.
Hurry.
And get your pacifier out of your mouth, because I don't want him to think you're a baby.
Here.
See your daddy's camera up there?
It's recording.
See it? It's on record.
Is it?
I don't want them to think you're sucking on a pacifier like a baby.
You can tell his lips are all blue.
Candy.
No, it's candy, Grandpa.
Is it candy? What's it taste like? Strawberry? Oranges?
Blueberry.
Blueberry? Are you sure it's not strawberries?
No.
No. Is it root beer?
No, I don't like blueberry.
You don't like root beer?
You don't like root beer? Do you like Dr. Pepper?
Not white pop blueberry.
Not lollipop root beer?
Oh, well, it comes in a bottle, like Coke, and you drink it. You're so
You like
pretty.
hanging up here with Grandpa? And coming up here and hanging out with Grandpa and Grandma and Daddy?
Florida? You're supposed to say that.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't understand the question.
He wanted to know if you like come visit us in Indiana every summer and have a birthday and get a little bit older.
And 4th of July with fireworks.
Oh, he loves fireworks.
I buy fireworks.
You buy fireworks?
You're too little to buy fireworks.
No, I should grab the fireworks because Grandma let me have fireworks.
Grandma let you have them.
Your grandma's with you when you get the fireworks?
They're round and one up.
Alright.
Oh.
A guy will write TNT, but TNT is clear.
TNT.
Yeah, you know what that is.
It's scary.
TNT blow us things
Blows
in
up things.
Minecraft.
Oh, in Minecraft.
And not real.
But not real.
Okay, baby. Be careful. Don't hit the camera. Oh,
Good
you
job.
here? Go out there and throw the ball. What a man.
You're good.
All the time. I keep my eyes open for the ties that bind. Keep all your mind. I'll walk the line.
Even one of the boats. Barges. You know what's happening when they get all wet? They're going to sink.
Alright, we're going to start with the, I guess, football, since that's the only part we can really go into at the moment of your life.
Okie dokie. Well, I wanted on the football team because I had a bad reputation. I was always getting into fights and things. But I turned over a new leaf and I wanted to be straight A student. I wanted to get on the dean's list. I wanted to cut all my wavy Elvis hair off. So I went up to the barber shop and I had him take all my Elvis hair off and make me have a burr haircut. And I went up there and stood in line at the place where they let you in to talk to the coach. And soon as he saw me without all my glorious hair, he said, "You must want this awful bad." And I said, "Yes, sir, I do. I want to improve my grades, turn my life around. I want to play sports." And he said, "Well, that's good enough for me. Go on in, you're on the team." So I went in, I found me a practice uniform, and later on, about an hour later, we went out on the field, Couts Field in Kokomo. And boy, I tell you what, there was more jumping jacks and calisthenics than I'd ever done in my life. And there's this one thing where you lean over, you got your helmet on, you put your helmet on the ground while your feet are still on the ground, and you go around in a circle to the left, a circle to the right, and then you actually twist. When you're still facing down, you're facing back of you, and your back is arched. And then they had these big sleds that some of the assistant coaches would stand on, and there were about 7 of us, 6 of us. They'd get down and they'd call out, hut 1, hut 2, hut 3, and we'd charge after that, the padded positions with our shoulder, and we would shove just as hard as we can. And we had to run a lot of laps around that field. And I tell you what, it was hard work. It hurt, but little by little, with all the running, all the jumping jacks, we pretty well got whipped into shape. And of course, we still had the original football team, but we were the bench warmers. And every once in a while, they'd put us in a position while one of the first string football players could sit out and rest.
How many games did you play?
I don't know how many games are there in a season.
Wow.
We played every school in Indiana as far as I knew.
How many years did you play football?
I played 2 years. I played my junior and senior years.
Did you ever try basketball or baseball?
No, I didn't try basketball or baseball. I just did football. I tried a little track for a while, and I tried cross country for a while, and I didn't do too well on the hurdles. I mean, you have to have a certain amount of flexibility and speed to jump hurdles. So I didn't stick with that.
Did your parents ever go to any of your games?
Nope. No, they just thought it's the grade school or high school. It's no biggie to them. And my dad, he was a fan of pro sports. Oh, did I tell you about the time I fell under the ice? I didn't. Okay. See, the school was about 2 blocks from Main Street, or Union. No, it was Main. And Dad worked right over the bridge over the Wildcat Creek. The next building was Northern Indiana Supply Company. Him and Uncle Grady and Uncle Charlie, they all worked there. And I either walked home, or if it was after football practice, or after a school function that lasted longer. Dad got off at 5, and I'd just go down to Union over the bridge and wait in there, and I'd ride home with him. But it was winter time, and there was ice all over the Wildcat. So I went back to the Kokomo High School and went down on the ice, and I walked the creek down there to where Northern Indiana Supply Company was. And I just walked over, and that saved me from going all the way to Main Street. Except this one time, ice was a little thin, so I was surprised when I fell through and ended up underneath the ice. So, since I was a good swimmer, I just went ahead and swam underwater over to the shore where I'd be getting out on the bank anyhow. And it was shallow enough. I just put my feet on the ground under the water and pushed up 2 or 3 times and broke the ice and went on up the bank and through the back door of the supply company. And all the guys in there, they kind of started laughing, making jokes, stuff like that, you know. They knew me all my life. They were used to seeing me there at the store.
Did they offer you like a blanket, a towel, or anything, or did they just laugh?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't. I mean, Northern Indiana Supply Company didn't have blankets and towels stuff. And Dad didn't really appreciate me being soaking wet and sitting in his car.
Wow.
But he did ride me home, where I dried off, changed clothes, and, you know, nothing was ever said about it after that. Now, Coach Bob Hamilton, he, after the games, whether we won or lost, he was on WIOU radio, and they were asking him questions about the game, you know, what happened and what his plans were and strategies. And one time when I did particularly good I was a lineman. I was right next to the center, and the center wanted to come after he got hiked the ball, the center, to the quarterback, and the quarterback is going to run right between me and the guy that hiked him the ball. So we had to open up the opposers, the defenders, knock them out of the way. We did a good job, and of course our team got a touchdown. And Coach Hamilton said on the radio after show that he was real proud of Grady. Didn't call me Grady. He said he was real proud of Grady because, you know, Grady could really run down the field, and he was a good defense.
Your one moment of fame turned to gravy.
My one moment of fame turned into a joke about Grady running down the field.
Yep, and
Yeah.
Everybody at home listening to that program was completely confused.
I guess. I didn't have any fan club, so I never heard about it.
Alright, anything after football of interest?
What about all the
Yeah.
fights, man?
I drove a Mr. Softy ice cream truck after school.
Bad boy.
Because it was about 2 blocks from the courthouse, so it wasn't too far to walk after school. And I'd go in there, and their trucks were already refrigerated, and they had already poured the mix in. turned on the machines to freeze it up, and they were already stocked. All I had to do is get behind the wheel and take off, not take off for Indian Heights or other additions where there were a lot of kids. And I'd flip on the music, so no matter where I went, you could hear me coming. And I'd pull up to any curb I wanted to and just sit there a few minutes playing that music. Kids would run up to the truck and then line up, and they'd buy ice cream or ice cream cones or Cokes, drinks, just about anything that soft serve ice cream could sell. Sundaes, banana splits, we had it all. And of course a lot of times I gave away a lot of ice cream, or made the ice cream cones a little bit bigger than they were supposed to be. And I invented a few ice cream treats with the bananas and the cherries and the chocolate, the pineapple. I'd kind of mix everything in it that sounded good, and I'd give it out blended to the best looking girls that came up to the truck.
Here, try my concoction. You'll love it.
Yeah, try my concoction. It's absolutely free. A one-time only deal. I had a lot of fun driving that Mr. Salty ice cream truck.
And then you also did the bicycle, selling ice cream.
Oh yeah, when I was too young to drive the truck, I pedaled the bicycle with the ice cream cart on the front and rang the bells. That was a lot of work, but it didn't hurt my legs to pedal it. And I went all over town, all over Kokomo. I don't think I did that, but maybe 2 years. And just, you know, I wasn't getting rich. I wasn't saving any money. It was just something to do that was fun. Of course, it kind of came in to help later when I was selling sweepers for Kirby. I sold Kirby sweepers, and I sold Electair sweepers, and I sold compact sweepers. Later on, I got into this. I was working with this woman, and we were working for Olin Mills, and we were selling photograph plans that followed the child all the way from birth all the way up through high school, and sometimes provided their college education for them. That, you know, the families had to keep these books going. Each year on the kid's birthday, they signed a contract that they were going to have pictures made. Birthday or Halloween or graduations, proms, dances.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and they were thick books, and they were done by Olin Mills, and there in Kokomo at that time, Olin Mills, they were the top of the photograph company. They had an office right on the west side of the courthouse, and I was lucky enough to work with an older woman, and I got to go with her and hear how she presented the program, and it sounded like a real good program. Then later on, of course, I was making my own appointments, and I did pretty good selling that. Now, when I was back in the 8th grade, I sold magazine subscriptions, and then after that, I sold an educational program for Keystone readers. And it got more complicated and you had a lot more to memorize. And later on, when I was grown up, I actually got a license to sell life insurance. Well, how you doing there, son?
Oakley dokley.
Oakley dokley? Oh,
Big bird. Wow.
oh boy. Well, when I sold sweepers for Kirby,
How old were you?
huh?
How old were you? Or are you just going into your jobs now?
No, this,
18, 19.
yeah, I was a late teen.
Okay, cool. Kirby
And,
vacuum cleaner.
I sold sweepers. So naturally I had to have a car. Now, I like the little teardrop shaped compact with the cyclonic action that always kept the dirt down on the bottom so that you could still fill the bag because it had cyclonic action when the air came in.
Like a cyclone? Is that what
Yeah, it's like a cyclone. Well, I went to this one house, and
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
it was a single girl, and of course I was a single guy, and I was smitten. It was a place out by Miami that was close to Bunker Hill. It was a trailer court, and so I wanted to do an extra special job for her, and I put down wax real thick so it would have a high shine, but the wax never dried. You laughed like you knew. Well, I didn't really, I never had used it before, and I didn't know that you can't put wax on real thick and polish it unless it's a very thin layer. And I must have spent an hour trying to buff up that wax, and I finally had to say, ma'am, I'm sorry. I put too much wax down and it never dried and it will not shine and buff. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. And this girl just laughed and she said, that's okay. Because, you know, she got a set of steak knives out of letting me demonstrate the Kirby. And, you know, everybody that agreed to let us come to their home to put on a demonstration, they got a set of steak knives.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was a good deal at the time. Oh, and when I was selling magazines door to door, not mentioning the time when a boyfriend said no, and I said, sir, I'm talking to the lady of the house and she's interested, and he grabbed me by the seat of the pants and the collar on my shirt, and he threw me over the banister and over the hedges out into the yard. And I mean to tell you, I got up, dusted myself off, got my little briefcase full of, well, there was a folding big card with a bunch of words and pictures on it. I put them in and I walked down the street. I didn't just go to the next house. I skipped a few houses because I was scared.
Yeah.
Because that man had told me to get off of his property, but the girl, she kind of wanted to see. And so
Kind of wanted to see her boyfriend beat the hell out of you.
no, she was a hardhead and he was a hardhead, and she wanted these free magazines. See, all they had to do is like pick 7 magazines, well-known magazines. I mean, Ladies
National
Home Journal.
Geographic.
What?
National Geographic.
Yeah, I think that was one, but there was Ladies Home Journal, and there was, I had them on my McCall's,
Post.
Saturday Evening Post, a bunch of, and all they had to do was pay for the shipping and handling. The price of the magazine was considered to be our advertising money instead of spending it, in the newspaper and on television and advertising. We actually bought them magazines, and they paid the shipping and handling. It was a darn good deal. Just like that whole life insurance I sold. You didn't get money back, but what you paid in for your funeral cost was completely covered. I mean, everything imaginable. And it covered it all. So I thought, hey, that is a good deal. I never sold anything that I didn't think was a good deal. A real, giveaway.
You didn't want to feel like you're scamming people.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't want to scam people.
That's why
everything
I couldn't do telemarketing. I felt like I was scamming people after a while, and kind of are, so I had to quit.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much a person can do to other human beings. I mean, if you're a good human being yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't lie to people and still sleep at night. It's like taking the life savings from an old retired couple and making them think they won a lottery or got some money.
Expense paid trip to Florida.
All expense paid trip, vacations and things.
We just need your social security number and your bank card.
Yeah. Well, we had our identity stolen, and about $8,000 or so worth of electronic equipment was purchased using our name and credit card number, and from a town that we don't even shop in or live in. But somebody over there got our information, and well, I tell you what, if we hadn't called the right people at the right time, they were going to send us to court, sue us, everything else to get that money. But we got hold of the right people, and they finally figured out who it was, and they made it right. That can happen to anybody.
Alright, 12 minutes.
Shoot, what was we talking about, dude?
You were talking about your selling things, and then you went on to the Kirby, and then...
Kirby.
Encyclopedias.
Compacts. Oh, and the encyclopedias. I think it was Encyclopedia Britannica. And it took a long time to memorize the whole spiel. And I mean, it was a program. It was a program that was a real good deal. And we updated the encyclopedia set. After so many years, the new ones would replace the old ones. It was a good deal. It was also an educational program that provided a college education to the kids that used it.
What did you do with all the money that you made by selling all these wonderful products?
You hear your mama laughing? I spent the money faster than I made it.
On
my car. Little Papoose. 50 Chevy that was customized, painted with gold metal plate, extended fins on the back, and shaved hood and shaved headlights, French headlights. Door handles had been sanded off.
Did you wear like all black leather too, like leather jacket and blue jean pants?
Well, yeah, everybody did. But you forgot the gray flannels that were pegged at the bottom. That means they made them so tight you had to take off your shoes and socks to get your feet through the cuffs. and they look good. And then you had this gold pocket watch chain hanging down, and you had the rabbit foot hanging on it. Well, you can laugh now, but back then...
I'm thinking of the movie Grease.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, the movie Grease.
Those were always seen as the bad boys.
Oh,
and
man.
you're like, everybody dressed like that. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. But I did enjoy the period of time when everybody wore bell-bottom pants. And these flowery shirts, bright colors.
Would that be the disco era?
I don't know. I think it probably was.
And what about you making the cords for Cocoa High School?
Oh yeah, I used to paint senior cords.
What's a cord?
Corduroy, yellow corduroy pants.
Oh.
And skirts for the girls. And they wanted, you know, whatever club they were in. Like if they were in Glee Club, they wanted music signs, music symbols. And if they played a sport, they wanted a football, a basketball, or a tennis racket.
They're like walking billboards, their pants would.
Yeah, and it had the year, and it had Kokomo High School.
I remember seeing pictures when I was younger of that.
Well, of course, I still got the book in there somewhere.
I think Alan.
Yeah, I think she loaned it to me.
And when I worked at Delco, I used to make what they called CB cards, or handle cards. Everybody that was on the CB had a handle, like double nickel, silver fox, honey dripper.
Where you draw like cartoon characters and their name under it.
Yeah, whatever I saw in my mind from the name, I would picture somebody like shooting with a pistol, shooting a nickel, and they were bending the nickel, you know, when the bullet hit, and it was nickel bender. And Honey Dripper, he was the guy in bell bottoms, and he was dancing along, and he was just dripping honey from a honey jug.
Oh,
you know,
honey
and
drip.
he had 3 or 4 beautiful chicks chasing him, and he was just, I mean, he was cool. He was pimping. He was pimping down the street, and he liked that. And then there was another guy called Action Jackson. I mean, his name was Jackson, but he called himself Action Jackson. But that was a different thing. That wasn't senior chords. I painted his toolbox at Delco. And I painted a picture and a cartoon of him and wrote Action Jackson. Oh, and I made banners, you know, like for reunions, that family reunions. And I've still got a whole bunch of photographs of them in that same book with the senior chorus in it.